Was not a happy smile. That was a grimace.
Oh, the grimace. Nice.
Should have changed it.
So we may have. I noticed there was construction on the floor below us. So you may hear some cutting into walls
I
or
didn't
some.
see anybody down
Oh,
there
good.
when I
Oh,
came up.
maybe we timed it with this lunch break. That would be perfect. But there's some stuff going on downstairs.
It worked too.
Yes. So bear with us. There's.
It's not going to be any worse than the normal
Yeah, right.
ambulances. And
At least the electricity isn't off. That happened last night. So
fun.
That would have been fun to try to do this with no power.
Fun to do it would be impossible. Yeah. Oh.
All right. So yeah, hey, everybody in the chat. Nice to see everyone.
Clarion.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, Clarion, Arturo, Miguel, Vero. Nice to see everybody. Oh, Carolina. And where is that Matt? Yeah, we got some.
Without Matt, we're going
Fallout
to be inundated with bots.
Yeah, right.
Like that one horrible stream.
Oh yeah, our stream with the Twitch has got all the Russian bots.
Like that was like our first Oathmark game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And somehow like we were getting rules,
Oh yeah,
like rule things in there. Like I'm glad we saw it, right?
Yeah. There's a lot more automation now, and I probably even at that time that I should have there's bots and things that can run that I have like lists, like blacklists of known IPs
So you use
and
bots
stuff.
to fight the bots.
Yeah, you use bots. Yeah, it's bot war basically in your chat. But there's a lot more of that that I should have looked into because we didn't have a mod yet, so not having anything on there probably except there was probably just a filter for profanity. But other than that, that was the only thing helping us.
What we should have at the top of the chat stream now, bot wars.
That's what it's gonna be soon. The whole internet is gonna be bots watching bots doing bot
I did
things.
see that article. I didn't read it, but like, there's more bots than actual people users, right?
Oh yeah. I'm sure there are. But they're collecting.
Bots can't bring you this kind of content.
Yeah, they're collecting.
Zuckerberg must contrive, but they can't.
Yes.
Equal this witty banter.
That's exactly right. So what have you been up to? Anything?
I'm almost done painting my tiny little 2mm scale Marian Romans.
Oh, nice.
I've only got 5 bases left. 2 auxilia, a thing of warband, and elephants and a bolt shooter.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, I got to get some. We've already set a date for the next Infinity. So after Golden Week, so I got to get.
Golden
Gotta get
Week
some stuff painted.
And stuff,
Yeah, everyone's kind of busy, or it seems like a good time, but only for people without families, or they're free, but nobody else is. So yeah, we're gonna just set it for the.
I'm mildly jealous of sometimes the people without a family. It's like, cool, you get to do whatever you want. Like 4-day vacation from work.
Yeah, right.
What will you be doing?
Yeah.
Same thing I always do.
Yeah, you always see those very sad-looking fathers on Sunday, the only day they have off, with their family at a zoo or riding the train to the Universal Studios or whatever.
I get it, right? Like, look, it's important to spend time with your family. You could have faked that a bit better. Right? Like, it's important to spend time with your family, but like if you're like an overworked like Japanese office worker and you get like 1, maybe like 2, sometimes not even like 2 days consecutive days, right? You get your like 1 day off. I kind of understand after getting burnt. Like I want a day that's like just for me, and I kind of am. Unfortunately, I have to spend it with my family. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that's why the Japanese embraced golf so heavily. I gotta go to the driving range. I got no choice. It's required. It's a work thing, Yeah, but not easy. Yeah. So So Fallout, we got some more Fallout. Cool. I think we've got the full party. We'll see. But they're in for some fun times. It's already that Yojimbo thing where they're like playing 2 sides against each other. So
let's see how that
turns. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And that's nice because even in that game they have like a way to keep track of like your standing with factions and like what that means. Just similar to the video game, where they're instantly hostile if you've killed a lot of them or if that you've openly been working against them. And the neutral or friendly, so that means like maybe reduced trade prices for trading and stuff.
I do like mechanics like that, where it's like, okay, you're allowed to kind of do whatever you want, not whatever you want, but you're supposedly allowed to do whatever you want in the world. Your actions kind of have consequences, and while it could just be up to the GM to decide, I do like something that's a little bit more mechanically concrete, where you're like, okay, we're kind of tracking whatever points or moving up and down a scale or something like that. I like that a lot.
And with the with it being Fallout based on the PC console game, people have expectations, and the game tries to emulate what the other game was doing. Yeah, the video game was doing. So it works well to people. People know what the dangers are. People know what the survival mechanics. You already kind of have that in your head. You don't have to say, okay, so how many points do I have to drink or whatever. You have already a set idea, and I'm surprised how much I like that. Like, there's already so much agreement on what you're doing in the game system and everything.
Probably asked before, how many people in the group are familiar with the Fallout game and mechanics? Like video game one.
Yeah, I think all but one has played, and they actually I think watched a little bit of the Amazon series. Yeah, so but I'm not sure. Like maybe passing familiarity, and plus the original PC games were like from the 90s. So that was a bit ago, and so maybe a little bit foggy. But I think that that whole post-apocalypse thing has permeated through like pop culture, so everybody knows that look.
I was just wondering how much of a touchstone people have coming into it, and because that is a useful shorthand. We're like, okay, we're all pretty much familiar with the setting and what can happen and kind of things, and the mechanics do a decent job of emulating the things you would expect from other types of games, and that can be a real nice sort of shorthand to get people on the same page. Yeah,
I think that has worked. I'm surprised how much that's worked. The only thing that I made a mistake in my thinking was that this will be a good game for drop in, drop out, whatever players are available. But there's so much world building and so much certain decisions you don't want to make without the player present, that it's like, oh no, this isn't a good drop in, drop out. You kind of as a party have to have the clashes and have, no, we should betray them, no, we should get paid, no, we should get out of here. Right. You need that, and so maybe Fallout wasn't the perfect choice for that kind of game, but but it's got a lot going on. I was surprised. I mean,
it's not real life. You could, as long as everyone's cool with it, you could retcon stuff. Yeah. We decided this while you were gone. That cool, right?
Yeah, it's worked out okay so far too. Like the timing has been good. It's like, that would actually be good for that character not to be there, like story wise.
It's like, you all act like adults, you all have adult discussions, and the game's fun for everybody. And you don't have to ask questions on Reddit about, this happened, what should I do, right? Solve it out of the game. Huh?
Yeah, right. My players suck. What do I do? How do I punish them?
Game.
How do I get them out of my house? There's all kinds of fun stuff. All right, should we get going for this week here? So let's do this. So, we already did our 30 seconds. Okay, so let's do the intro. Sorry.
I'm ready. I remembered what to do, but I'm not the one who does it.
Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, first, our new segment, the terrifying Tariff Wars. So let's talk a little bit. So it was all fun and games when those, imaginary numbers, and I was joking that, it's going to get up to a bazillion, gajillion %. Right. But now shit got real. Okay. And people that I care about are in danger of losing their livelihoods and their businesses. And I'm speaking, of course, of Cephalofair Games. So Isaac Childress was interviewed by Polygon and talking about how things are fucked up right now, because if you remember, Gloomhaven did that giant crowdfunder where they funded like a revised version of Gloomhaven, an RPG, a mini game, and more miniatures, and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that was a while ago. All right. And they fulfilled parts of it so far, but right now they have containers basically stuck in China. So remember, we're talking about 145% tariffs that have now magically made their way to 100 or 245, like just imaginary numbers. And so Childress has said in this interview, these tariffs are a doomsday scenario for the U.S. board game industry. It is not just economically feasible. It is just not economically feasible to bring board games into the U.S. at such a tariff rate, which is already starting to dry up sales, causing an impact on retailers, distributors, and that I suspect will be much worse than COVID. So also talking to their chief operating officer, Price Johnson, we're not getting that product. It's staying over unless something changes. It's staying over there unless something changes, and we're going to need to pivot essentially to our U.S. sales operations. So yeah, it looks like this. So fulfillment of this second edition. So it went into full pre-production in 2023. Earned slightly more than $5 million on BackerKit, part of a really large scale campaign. And yeah, it looks like they've got containers stuck over there that are not getting anywhere. So yeah, Johnson said he's been in contact with at least 60 other publishers, and all of them are hitting the brakes, even as overseas factories begin to ramp up for the holiday season. So the whole industry is hurt. It's a ripple effect, he said. So a little bit more about Gloomhaven. Yeah, so Childress also said nothing is in limbo quite yet, as the factory is still assembling the copies, but we're working on solutions ahead of needing to move the assembled copies. So they might have to, sometimes it's a little extra expense, but they kind of, maybe let's ship it to Vietnam first, and then if Vietnam has worked something out with America, then we'll ship it to, so they may have to play those games. But already I've seen a pretty depressing coverage on YouTube about how this is affecting China. We don't really consider it's kind of faceless, factories that are supplying stuff on, Alibaba and all these sites, and they're, but these are actually like, privately run small businesses that a lot of these factories are, and the kind of unscrupulous cut costs, and they have bad quality control, but a lot of them are seriously working to do high quality production for the West and as export. And they're trying now to pivot because of the tariffs to domestic Chinese markets. It's impossible. There's just a few big companies that control it, and probably with association with the Communist Party, and their prices are so low that they just have to basically give away anything they've already produced for an export market. They have to give away at a loss because the domestic market prices are already at such a low level that there's no profit there. Right. So this is going to, small and medium-sized manufacturing in China is just going to be gone, if this continues. And it's these are in the family-run, like individual people. It's not this. We have this image of this faceless or this, Communist Party controlled. But just like in America, it's going to be the small
factory jobs.
Small and medium businesses. They're going to be hurt by this tariff bullshit, and the big guys are going to be fine, and they're probably going to benefit because that can swallow up distribution routes, and they can take over what was abandoned by people that couldn't.
It's a shame you went out of business. Well, I'm going to buy you at
yes.
bottom prices. And
Yeah. So one more thing. So now that Trump is making exceptions for some industries that have a heavier influence on economic impact, it is even more apparent that it is all just a twisted posturing that leaves other industries like ours as unnecessary collateral damage, Childress wrote.
Sorry, isn't that our president?
Yeah, shouldn't he be dealing with China instead? Is his trade war with China or U.S. businesses? Yeah, that's very sad. So I was really sad to see that. I hope that doesn't hurt, because they had so much success and they do such good quality games, and they're like really continuing to support what they're doing. So Father Fair should, remain a player. And I think what Stonemeyer Games, the guys that do Scythe, were also saying that they're going to get hit hard too. Yeah, these big, like lushly produced with miniatures and lots of pieces and cards and stuff. They're if this keeps going on, and if it kind of is a waiting game, this war of attrition between America and China, we're going to see a lot of small and medium-sized people bite the dust. So because we are talking, remember, about an 18-pound game.
Hey, that's no ogre, right?
right. So it is quite a thing to ship, and them having to deal with higher rates. So when we're talking about numbers, it's literally the cost to manufacture it, and then 200% on top of that is tariff. So it's unsustainable. The numbers just won't work for them.
I think I saw something about if it costs them like $20, the end result is like 69 something.
Right. Yeah. So it's brutal. All right, but so cover a little bit of that as it keeps going. So continuing coverage of the terrifying tariff wars. Yes, the trade war. So hopefully this will just be a quick over thing. But other news on the weekly. So also this week on the weekly, Jeremy Crawford retires. Oh yeah, we still got that. Jeremy Crawford retires, and we should pop up graphics all the time.
Yeah, we should.
Space Gits. CMON's David Preti steps down again. Keeps stepping down. Yes, it's a staircase of positions. And the last few days for the Battletech RPG bundle on Humble Bundle. So picking up where we left off last week with our Chris Perkins news. So yeah, we knew this. He's the other shoe, I guess we're saying. The other shoe drops. And Jeremy Crawford, who has been working for Wizards of the Coast since 2007 as a game designer, has also announced he'll be departing. So both Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford are departing after they're seeing it as a success after the current release of the 5th edition revised rule set, and they're going out on a high note, but I think they're getting out before things collapse.
Okay, I was going to say, like, if you want any chance of continuing to work for a corporate, like,
oh, yeah. You're not going to MF them out going out the door, of course.
Yeah, no, you don't, right? Yeah. That's why, sure, I read the news of both, you know, Perkins and Crawford leaving with, like, extreme, not sarcasm is the wrong word, but just like, I'm like, okay, you're saying it's a high note and you're having that, sure, you're saying what you need to say. Yeah. Right? And I said this on social media, like, when I saw that, I'm like, I'm sure it was their own choice to leave, ultimately, right? But I am positive that WotC is trying to pull like a GW where everything in the credit section is not going to say written by WotC staff. They don't want names associated with that, so that person can have a following that could then strip that following away when they go to something else. Right.
And I would hope that one or both of them kind of start doing their own thing. They go off and start their own companies.
Basically kind of like pull like a Duncan Road.
Yeah, right. And do their own thing and take advantage of this popularity because they've earned it. And it's no small accomplishment on what they've done because both of them were in since 4th edition. And to see this like D&D more popular probably than it was even in the 80s, you know, is but it's a pretty great thing to have been a part of, you know, regardless of, you know, Hasbro and all the I mean it's a pretty impressive thing. And I think we talked about after you left last week, so where did Kyle end up? We found out that he's going to be in charge of the Disney trading card game now. He's over at Ravens. Yeah. Okay. Lorcana. So
Lorcana, whatever.
Yeah, he didn't far fall from this nonsense. So I guess they associated, well, he must know something about magic and we want to be magic, so hey, Kyle, come and work. It's Ravensburger, the company that's doing the Disney game. But anyhow, back to the resignation. So Jesse Lanzillo had something to say. He said both of them had been working on Dungeons and Dragons for a very long time. What an observant guy. He's only been there for 2 years, so I guess he doesn't quite understand the scope. I'm sure
someone just stuck like a mic in front of this poor guy's face. Like when you're signing the farewell card at work, you're like, I've interacted with this person once.
Employee 0075 and 0076.
Good luck.
So it's been a point of discussion for some time and something that we've been training up everyone for. They really feel good about the teams that they have in place and the legacy that they're passing on.
So one person's job is being taken over by a team.
Right. Yeah.
Supporting my theory about written by WotC team.
Yeah. So he goes on to say they wanted to make sure that the core rulebooks were really successful and they were setting up the future leads for success. That has happened, okay, and they feel really reassured that folks in place will be able to carry on the wonderful legacy. He's repeating himself, and they have given us, and then bring their own stuff to the table, which they've already been doing. Okay, and so he goes on to say it's one of those things where you've finished a major keystone creative product, and you do ask yourself, okay, I have the next one in me for right. I have the next one in me for right now. Do I want something a little bit different? And I think any creative can identify with that. I think he's just putting the best possible spin on. Get the fuck out.
You of course.
But they have named, as you are correct, they have named no direct replacements. Okay. James Wyatt and Wes Schneider, who have been there, will be taking a bigger place at the table, corporate speak. They'll have more on their plate. Yeah. Their action item list will grow longer.
Bigger place at the table, but same size meal.
You're not getting an executive salary. Sorry. Yeah, so WotC's losing a combined 40 plus years of experience now, and they're just winging it. They're turning it into gotcha, the some kind of loot box system anyhow. So Lanzillo goes on. Right now we have folks in principal and lead roles that are escalating to take on more responsibility. We're
Name them.
Yeah, right.
I want their name.
Hasbro Gaming Group. We're looking at the team and our needs to figure out how to really construct the team in a way. I do not like how he talks. Where we
you're reading it with like a weird voice.
So. Everything's everyone's strengths.
For all we know, this guy has a wonderful voice for radio.
Oh, yeah, excellent. Oh, he referred to us though. He said Chris and Jeremy don't need any substitutes at their moment. Yeah, actually, yeah, I think that's true. I think we see the roadmap. We know our roles.
I didn't put that together. That's hilarious. Yes, Chris and Jeremy.
Yes, this Chris and Jeremy are firmly in their positions, and we are not stepping down.
Hilarious.
So. Yes. Oh, yeah. So much Lanzillo. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. End of an era at WotC. So yeah. It's pretty. And they're most public faces. I think people know those names. And we saw that with when they were doing the revised edition, kind of the little talk about what was happening with the classes, what's happening with mechanics. It was just the two of them in a little conversation, talking about their approach to these this new revised edition. So yeah.
Yeah. Like Perkins was the face of the DM and Crawford was the face of the rules.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, Crawford was so he came in as a designer, later a rules manager for 4th edition, and when 5th edition happened, along with Perkins and Mike Merrills, they took over, and then he took over as lead rules developer and managing editor. So yeah, and it was also people might know him from his familiar Crawford's sage advice rulings on the system. So, and they're also saying, WotC's also saying, this is not corporate reshuffling. We're not pushing anybody out. It looks like, especially with the death of Sigil, it looks like they were kind of trying to push some people out with some experience and just be like, let's get some new blood in here that's not gonna, not gonna have much to decisions. Yeah. So yeah, so as expected, we this news came out right after we stopped recording. Right after we finished recording yesterday. Yeah. So if we would just held off another hour, we could have reported both of them resigning. So yeah, I hope that they can do something with their experience and celebrity. Or
maybe their RPG burned out.
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe it's just like, I'm getting out of this industry. I'm gonna refinish furniture.
That'd be hilarious.
But yeah, so good luck with that, and we'll keep an eye on because it'd be nice. I mean, when they this happened, they didn't ever create a real competitor, but all of the old timers that left Games Workshop, created Warlord Games and created a lot of competition against them. So we'll see if that actually happens.
That would be pretty interesting.
Just something I'm dying to get you into, and I think we've got enough bottle caps, dice, and orcs to make this happen.
Okay.
Space Gits. So a new dexterity-driven skirmish war game about drunk orcs.
I think I've seen this.
Yeah, so could 2025 be the best Orktober ever? It's possible.
Probably.
With this game, it's possible.
Orktober. Okay.
Yes, Orktober. It's just a few months away. So the Gits have wrecked the place again. So who's responsible for Space Gits? No less than Mike Hutchinson of Gaslands and Hobgoblin fame. Okay. Yeah, so and so he's been working on a ton of stuff, and this was the thing that he enjoyed the most, made him laugh, and said, I'm putting this out. Okay. So he's working with Cromlech, so that's why it might make a good Orktober, to do some one exclusive and then a whole line of supporting, because once he kind of created this world, they just started designing for it and building the kind of ideas with orcs that he was thinking about. So they're doing models specific for this that will also be available after the campaign. Okay. There is one exclusive though. So the style of orcs pioneered in the 1990s by master sculptor Brian Nelson was the big inspiration for this. Silly, violent, robust, belligerent, blockheads, cunning, sneaky, and above all, funny. So Mike Hutchinson, that was his inspiration for Space Gits. So it is miniatures agnostic, even though Cromtech is creating stuff for it, and one box of Orc Boys would be enough for 2 players because it's a very small model count. Okay. So yeah, if you can get your hands on some old orcs, especially the good ones with all the fun bits.
Well, I was thinking the ones that are just like this, right? The old.
Yeah, so they already have. Cromlech already has a large range of space orcs, but kind of theming more towards the drunken orc in this kind of city that he's created. So there are already, and in the rulebook itself, there will be photography of the Cromlech minis, photographed and painted by Billion Dollar Clown Farm. And there's also some Marauders from Mantic's Firefight in there. There is a quick start rules that you can download. I think it's a two-sided, like a one-page kind of two-sided. But the book that they're going to be producing for the crowdfunding is a 128-page rule book, available $26 for the softcover, $45 for hardcover. The same quality as the Hobgoblin. Yeah, so he said specifically they're using the same Lithuanian press, so it's going to be the same nice quality. They're producing originally 2 orc navigators, both in flight glasses and bomber jackets, and those are the ones, yes, but specifically made for this game. Rules are intentionally very, very silly, and the orcs are also drunk out of their minds. So the objective is to grab the most loot. So you're using bottle caps, like beer bottle caps, just dropped on the board to represent the loot, and you move rolling dice, and it's a very fun system. So there's dexterity involved, and you're rolling 3 dice for the movement, but the movement is just whatever the value of the dice is, you can move that many inches in the direction of that die. Yeah, so you'll watch the video to explain. So it's you're rolling 3 dice wherever they land. Those are the points. And it's like I can move 1 inch towards that die. Okay, now that's gone. I can move 6 inches towards that die. Now that's gone. So
I see. You can stagger.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So they're staggering around. Yeah. No easy curves of movement. So to move the dice in the play area, you move directly towards them wherever they land. And then you roll rolling dice and spraying bullets towards them. So you're also shooting and trying to get into melee and picking up loot as you go. And the dexterity part is once you're taking damage, the models will have a stack of d6s next to them, and you have to move the stack of so they call it the dice tower. It's a little confusing, but the stack of d6s and the mini have to move at the same time. So if you knock down the tower, the orc is unconscious.
Wait, they have to move at the same.
Yeah, you have to push the tower and the orc together. The dice have to be touching the model the whole time, the base of the model. And
I'm gonna have to go look at this because I'm wondering if you're allowed to make like a space on the base of the model for the dice tower.
Well, you probably could. That might be cheating a little bit, but yeah, I think the hard thing is that having to keep it in contact, so moving it and trying to keep it from.
So the orcs are drunk during the game. Are you supposed to be drunk?
You will be. You should be. Yes. So you have to move this little pile of dice beside them. It represents their ability to stand upright. If it ever tips over, the orc is flat out on his back until one of his mates wakes him up.
I kick.
Yes. So the rules will include guns and gear, vehicles, drunk driving, which is not endorsed by Mike Hutchins personally, campaigns with tables of loot and injuries, and your criminal record, and even factions. So this dice system that he's come up with is going to be released under Creative Commons. So anybody that likes this kind of crazy dexterity mechanic can use it.
When you reminded me that it was Mike Hutchinson, he has a bunch of stuff on itch that's similar. That's kind of the Creative Commons, the basic kind of framework for the game.
Yeah, that's really cool that he's done that. And so, yeah, there's a lot of people kind of praising the rules because they're available for free. There's beta test rules for the full thing, and then, of course, the quick start, which you can play right away. So the book will feature art by miniature painter Tyler Russo, that's of the $1 Billion Clown Farm, and illustrator Till Forster. So Eternal is his name. And then, of course, a collaboration with Cromlech. So Drunk Ass Space Orc. So 2 to 5 players takes under an hour, and they're encouraging kit bashing. Can be played as a drinking game, and orc on orc combat with campaign rules. So yeah, Space Gits is intended for an immature adult audience and contains depictions of alcohol and rioting. Its rules have been rated severe for jank. Okay. Yes. So and combat is resolved by kind of a rock paper scissors. So throw, shove, pinch, or thump, and those kind of cancel each other out. And so yeah, you do a rock paper scissors to see who. So you only need 3 to 5 models. You need at least a 2 by 2 foot space to play, buttload of d6s, some bottle caps or tokens, and then
I did say a
buttload of dice and a tape measure, or he says he actually prefers, because the measurements are pretty small, a short wooden school ruler will work. Yeah. So so the page itself has a lot of writing by Hutchinson about just why he did this and what he's trying to do. So I'm creating the rulebook myself, doing the game design, writing, and layout. I've written 28 pages of drunken goodness, which I'm laying out myself as a hardback book, full color throughout. It will be A5. I'm really looking forward to making something that fully represents me and my passion. I'm really inspired by the books of Shane Sutter, Relic Blade, Kevin Rahman, Forbidden Psalm. What they have made, they are my benchmark.
I'm more on board with a 128-page rule book now that I know it's A5.
Nice.
I'm like, how are you?
Yeah, right.
Okay, A5. Yeah.
Yes. So Standard Art Impresa, based in Lithuania, will be doing the same publishers, the printers that did the Hobgoblin book. So it'll have a matte soft touch cover and some, laminated details. So in the book is information about the city of Gnork, the quick start rules, information about the new Gits, the game rules themselves, gather your lads, gear and guns and gear, and then vehicles. So this might also be a kind of a simplified Gorka Morka substitution as well. Yeah. So campaign rules and factions as well. So yeah, it looks fun. And he said also in kind of conclusion, if the campaign goes well, I'll likely return to Kickstarter in a year or so with an expansion. So he really wants to keep supporting this. And so after all the details, the bundle, there's a 2-player bundle, which gives you enough miniatures and terrain and everything basically to do everything. So kind of a starter set. But they also have, just the book or the book and a few of the exclusive miniatures or a few of the terrain pieces, because they're doing like vending machines and kind of really fun thematic stuff. And of course it goes up to almost like $500 with huge sets of Cromlech, Cromlech miniatures and terrain and things. But very interesting and unique. So the Officer Crunk is the model that is exclusive to this campaign. So he crunches down the filthy streets of West Gnork, feared and respected in equal measure. But everything else will be available after. And they even broke some of the collections into different kits. So the City Boys, the Grill Cooks, the Fuzz Kit, I guess the Cops. Oh, that's right, because I think there's a timer and the cops show up. Like, so basically, the orc cops show up if your drunken brawl goes on a little too far. And they did goblins as well. So so all the miniatures and terrain except for Crunk will be available from Cromlech, and and they even have an official space Git birth certificate generator.
I don't think orcs got
Well, I guess now they do. But and he also said this campaign is highly influential on my ability to continue to make games for you. So talked about as a number of projects available on itch.io and this funding for this, even though if this isn't the thing you've always been waiting for, will help him continue to crank out more work. And it looks really fun. He's expected to ship it. I mean, things are, who knows? But October 2025, so October of this year, they expect to be. Yeah, so they'll do fulfillment between July and October, and be finishing up over the summer. So that looks fun, and I think we've got free rules and we've got bottle caps laying around and some D6s, so let's do this. We do. I certainly have
Fallout. I certainly have a lot. Oh, right, okay. I was thinking like there is a bag, like a garbage bag, full of PET bottle caps in my office kitchenette.
Nice.
That's what we're allowed to use.
Now I've got Nuka-Cola caps we can use. They're already distressed and everything for Fallout. All right, so some more corporate shenanigans and probably things that have been influenced by Terraforms and bad financial statements. CMON's Dave Preti steps down as the non-executive director after resigning as chief operating officer. So it just dun. Okay. Yes. So he is stepping away for other work commitments, which I don't know exactly what that's meaning. But the publisher of Zombicide and Marvel United, CMON, could face losses of about $2 million for 2024. They have a scrap deal to sell IPs for about $20 million, and 2 shareholders that were due to invest $1.39 million into the business failed to hand over the funds. So their financial statements look terrible. So Preti joined in 2026 as creative director, moved up to COO in 2018, and became executive director in 2022. But yeah, became non-executive last September because it was in the best interest of the shareholders and financial backers. So I guess maybe take less of a paycheck.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. So and he was responsible for restructuring their distribution business model, working with Asmodee, and that generated what he says, quote, that generated a great influx of cash for the company and greatly streamlined our operating costs. And that's why we're in the trouble we are now, because we got overconfident about how good this market actually was. So they had some new licensing deals with companies like Mattel, Netflix, CD Projekt Red, Marvel, and Marvel via Spin Master, using the IPs of the company, but nobody knows the state of any of that. Marvel versus Zombicide did well, made $22 million in crowdfunding. So recently they've been doing really IP heavy stuff, so it's not been very interesting. A lot of Marvel stuff.
Well, obviously it's been interesting if they're getting in like 2.8 million on a
but
Marvel
that's not
Zombicide.
enough. And that's not enough to keep them afloat. That's they're still reporting losses, but we're fine. I think it's like the shipping and manufacturing, all of that stuff is. So they had 12 years of running Kickstarter campaigns, but then stepped away from Kickstarter to do an exclusivity deal with GameFound, and we don't know if that's also contributing. So they had made a total of 108 million on Kickstarter through 60 campaigns, beginning in 2012 with the first edition of Zombicide.
Here's where we've talked about this before, and I would love to know. Okay, they've made 108 million.
Yes.
I would like to know how much they've spent.
Well, probably 208 million. Oops. Yes. So they've done things like DC Superheroes United, Cthulhu Death May Die, the Forbidden Reaches expansion. And so they have just completed the 2.85 million for the Massive Darkness Dungeons of Shadow Reach, which is basically a 5e campaign. So it's a game, but it also has like 5e components. So I don't know if that was a good move. They're a little late at that. But the rising cost of living and everything, they say, are causing them to miss their stock exchange deadline for publishing their financial results. And due to that, they were suspended. Their shares were suspended from trading on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. They bring up the tariff issue is really going to start to hurt them. And it's especially difficult with crowdfunding when you have these variables, because you charge a price, and then 5 years later, you might be actually shipping the thing, and that's a whole different world that you're doing that in. So they susceptible to large cost changes. So CMON has 10 yet to be delivered crowdfunding projects.
That's why right, like
I'm glad. I don't think I've backed them for a long time. So right about when things started to feel shaky.
Oh, okay. I'm certainly by no means like a libertarian, right? So like not even close. But my thought was like, my first thought was, shouldn't there be some kind of like regulatory oversight that says, you know what, buddy, you haven't delivered on 10 of these. How about you put the brakes on like starting another Kickstarter, right?
Kickstarter is not a pre-order. It is a donation, right? Or whatever.
Then I thought like, is it really someone's job to say, right? Anyway,
they're doing their best. That's all they've got to do. If any of these were
they're doing
from
their
Kickstarter,
best to scam people out of their money. Right?
They tried so hard.
I'm sure they did. Really, like 10 yet to be delivered.
I know. Yeah. So Zombicide: White Death, the 3.8 million campaign, is the next game due Q2 of this year. We'll see if that shows up. 5 of which are there's already 7 more titles available for pre-order, which are still probably in production. So they say that White Death, the Zombicide expansion, is making its way to the hubs. It's been dispatched from China, but if it shows up, it's going to get a 245% tariff on it, and who knows if maybe they'll just sink the container in the ocean and be done with it. So we'll see. CMON, they were probably the big stars and the first big money makers of early board game Kickstarter. They had such huge success, and it was original IPs. Zombicide and the stuff that was their stuff that they owned, and then they had the Eric Lang series of games that they did. Those are all really great and fun, and I think those times are just over.
How much IP is in Zombicide?
Yeah, right. Zombies and yes. But so good luck to CMON. Their era is over, but hopefully they can kind of become something that still functions.
Hopefully they can deliver on those.
Yeah, and deliver, not just rip off thousands of people. Let's hope. All right, and finally, you've got just 2 days, probably about a little bit more than 24 hours to get in on the humble bundle for the Battletech RPG collection by Catalyst Game Labs. So become a legend of mechanized mayhem, Chris. So the role playing. So a lot of these books supporting the role playing, but also the world. They released the Battletech Universe book, so that's available in a digital form, and that basically is the lore of the setting, and probably a pretty good thing. It's going to be so for $1 you can get some of the early. Some of the individual RPG books, but the full bundle of all 20 items is $18, and that gives you Battletech Universe, which is the setting book, Battletech Manual, and then just tons of supporting the recognition guides. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, and probably, I mean, these are not cheap. They sometimes get discounted on online retailers, but they're already their suggested retail price is pretty high. So the value of this bundle is like $335. So it's a lot of stuff. And if you're interested in the setting, especially this book, this book that they've just released, this is a good way to get it. Probably the cheapest way.
Yeah. DRM free, right? If it's
yes, if it's humble bundle, and the charity is No Kid Hungry that the funds are going to, so you can and you can also kind of manipulate your who gets how much of the so if you don't like Catalyst Labs but you like hungry kids, you can give the hungry kids as much as they need. But so this is just a few days left. Be two to get in on this, and so we're a little bit late reporting on it, but if you want that lore, if you want that setting, you don't get any of the gothic stuff, but you get all of the established setting.
The only lore we recognize this in this house is Data's brother.
All right. So that's going to do it for this week. So where can people find you?
Blue Sky and Instagram occasionally. That's Hivemind, HYVEMYND, where it's all tiny miniatures all the time.
All the time. All tiny.
All tiny all the time. And those are actually getting very hard, not hard to paint, but very different to paint, because you're not painting miniatures. They're miniatures. You're painting like the impression of a huge block of troops. Where you look at someone and you're like, when you get real close, you're like, that looks like garbage. But then you're going to see it at like 2 arms length, and you're like,
right. Yeah, it's kind of like, from seeing some of your photos, it's almost like painting bases, like details on bases, and trying to get them. I want this to kind of look like flowers, or kind of look like you're doing something at such a small scale, and just the merest suggestion of things. Yeah,
that's what it is.
You're trying to get across.
One of the things I'm running up against, I have trouble with color, and I think even more so than 28 millimeter or other scales, color is really important, because there's no model definition between the different parts. You got to represent that with color, right? And also contrast, right?
Yeah.
You want to kind of not realistic, but you don't want everything super bright, but you also want it to be able to see, okay, this is base, this is horse, this is tunic, this is whatever, and you got to do that with the different values of color. So it's interesting and very different from painting larger, coarser scales.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I want to see some of these in real life. I've seen photos, but I want to see them.
They're only about the whole army is only about that big, right? Anyway,
nice.
Cool. So where can people find you?
They found me a few days ago on my cartoon live stream. Yes, so that shows up on this channel, as well as Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch. Recently, the Go Comics website has been revamped, so it's bigger and more beautiful and wonderful, but my cartoons look small and pathetic, so I resized a bunch of them. So everything for this year is up to the bigger size and looks nice, but I'll gradually go through and update that. But all the comments are gone, so I wonder if they're gonna. Yeah, that's 20 years of comments that I can't. I can't. All that insult. I can't.
You can't Wayback Machine that thing?
Maybe. It's very
type them all manually.
Yeah, I mostly copy the really mean stuff. I copied and pasted out, because I always put that on the back of any collections I do. That goes on the back of the book instead of the praise. But so I draw my single panel gag cartoon, Domestic Abuse, and eat some Japanese convenience store nonsense. And it's a nice long hang. It was about 4 hours the stream last time. Man. And do like a month's worth of cartoons. GoComics.com/domestic abuse if you want to read the archive of 20 years of that in their all new redesigned website. But if you like what we're doing here with the weekly, consider becoming a weekling.
The strongest of all supporters.
You can do that at patreon.com/upturnedtable. You can also click the join button below to become a member on YouTube. And that will give you the same things, except for Patreon has an RSS feed of this audio for the live stream and all of our audio releases that you can get directly on your phone. So stuff that it doesn't go out normally with the podcast aggregator, because we cut this down to just this part. You don't get all the all the ramble and the banter and all that. The before and afters is gone, but it sounds so nice. So
it's auto-tuned.
Yes, so listen for that. Listen to that on Patreon, and it's upturntable.com and for the main website, and then Upturn Table on all social media if you want to follow what is going on. Tomorrow we're going to be doing another session of the Fallout RPG, nice. So the Modifius 2D20, and it's been really fun. It's got the flavor is there, and the supporting adventures and stuff they've written have that nice flavor. You can tell it's like fans of the game, and they're really enjoying kind of playing around in that world and making stuff that feels like the game but is new. It's not like just retreading stuff that they've done before in a video game setting. But that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. There we go. Almost went back into tariff talk again, although I'm sure there'll be some of that. All right. So, good to see everybody in the chat. Yeah, so that so many of those stories have been coming out. I think we'll just do that weekly, just kind of update what everyone's saying about tariff stuff and how it's affecting them, and how long this is going to go on. But yeah, sounds not fun to have like gone through all of that, those years of production, and then literally have containers stuck because you don't want to move them. And it's actually, it becomes like this, how much do you want to lose? Because the stuff sitting on ships or sitting in port incurs like rental fees basically. So they're going to be paying regardless. Yeah, so that's what that article that I saw about some of the Chinese factories just having to dump stuff into the domestic market, and they actually did like live stream, auction stuff, and were just like trying to get rid of stuff because they stopped production because they're waiting to see how the tariff thing resolves, but then they had all this backstock that they needed to get rid of, and the domestic market, there's no profit in it in China, so that was really really depressing. All right, so yeah, the Battletech RPG bundle, that looks good. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to play the actual like tabletop RPG. I wonder, I wonder how it plays, and even what it's probably it's probably D20. I'm not sure. But yeah, good to see you, Hodag. How's it going? So yeah, Vera and Carolina. Oh, there's Matt. Hey, Matt. Date night. Hi, bye. Thank you, Matt. Matt makes an appearance. He's a busy guy, keeping the wife happy. That's cool. Cool. All right. Oh, great. Yeah, this is all going to be a bunch of bad news. And it's funny because like right away they realized, oh yeah, we can't tariff the crap out of certain things made in China because they're they are too important. But that means they're going to start deciding like who lives and dies. Like certain industries, it's like board games, fuck them. Chips and smartphones, everything. Oh yeah, of course we need that because that's where all the money is, keeping people doom scrolling. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be weird because I'll be just like watching all of this stuff from a distance. I'm going to be not affected by Japan's going to be doing its own like stupid thing. But I don't know. It may end up being that the trade connection between China and Japan gets better again because it kind of cooled down and got everything got more expensive. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I feel really bad for people not being able to sell to the American domestic market when they manufacture in China. It's gonna be brutal. And then the games that are being played between Canada and America and Europe and America should be fun. Yeah, Arturo says the corporation that owns Magic the Gathering denying reshuffling. Sus. They're just milling employees is all. Yeah. That's crazy. They got sick of winning. Yeah, that's probably the case, Arturo. And want to leave on a positive note. But it is like, it must have been a strange time with things going so well, but really, I wonder how much of that they felt and how much of the, the drama and the bullshit that they had to deal with at the company kind of like, hurt the enjoyment of, wow, D&D is really getting out there, much more than we anticipated. Nice. Carolina fell asleep for 15. Are we that exciting? Was it the tariff talk? Was it the tariff talk that put you to sleep? Oh yeah, Overboard. Yeah, if you've got the Gloomhaven 2 mega bundle. Oh my god. Yeah, they may have to, because the numbers that they were talking about, it's huge, multiplied by how many supporters. But they would be one of those companies that I wouldn't have any trouble, doing that with, because I have the RPG box coming. I'm not sure. I don't think that's as far along. I think the second edition Gloomhaven was further along, but it may be part of that shipment as well. But I would definitely be willing to help them, bear that cost to get it, because I'm not sure if they are shipping, if they're shipping to Japan, if they're going to ship to the U.S. first and distribute from there or whatever. But it might be good too to just kind of ask everybody for a little bit more money instead of just the backers affected. Although that people supporting crowdfunding are so sensitive to that shit. But because I've got that decision to make now about the Blacklist games, the guys that took over Wildspire, the guys that took over the Blacklist games Fantasy 2 set, have now done a campaign. You can get the models. I think that they gave us the STLs if we pledged. If we pledged to the original campaign, they gave us the models, but they're asking for another $48 plus shipping to get actually a box of produced models. And there's it's a little odd because they changed the set. It's got 15 less models, but it's just the extras, like 5 of a kind. So you're getting 4 of a kind instead of 5 of a kind, and that equates to a 15 model, or around 15 models that aren't included, 11 or so maybe, that aren't included. You can get those added as an extra, but those numbers were specifically for the Lasting Tales, their solo miniatures game that they were making, which Wildspire doesn't have the rights to. I think that's still with Blacklist Games or somebody else. So they shrunk the size just a little bit, but they are giving you a way to get the physical models for just a little bit more money. But the cost of doing that, I'm sure, since that original campaign has also increased. So yeah, you gotta expect that. But that a lot of people were really nasty. I think Abyss mentioned. Oh yeah, maybe in the cartoon stream, Abyss mentioned that. The comment section on the I forget what they renamed it. It's not like Fantasy Miniatures 2 set or whatever. They renamed it, but there's a lot of angry people. I have paid for this. Yeah. So it's yes, Fantasy Series 2. Yeah, so they acquired. Oh, it's on GameFound. Realm Reforged, Essential Fantasy Miniatures. And so they are offering also, because they have they bought all of it, the first set again. So you can get the first set and the second set together from them. But if they're producing them in China, is that even going to happen? It's you're really taking a risk. I mean, Wildspire, if you look them up, they have already produced a lot of sets, not of really great, a lot of weird miniatures that are not very usable, like cats dressed as wizards and some kind of silly nonsense. But yeah, they are offering all this original Blacklist Miniatures stuff, but can they deliver this? Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so like for $48 they're offering. It's still a really good deal. You're still getting for just pennies a miniature, like less than $1 a miniature. You're getting a lot of really decent sculpts and very generic. Like they work so well for Frosthaven or things where you have to just pull kind of classic fantasy monsters. They've got everything. They've got giant rats and ooze and goblins and orcs and zombies. I mean every kind of generic monster you would need, and multiples of them. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I this is the chance to back that. I'm not sure. And then they're only going to offer this once to the people that previously pledged. So we'll see. But yeah, a lot of anger. Look, there's 480 comments on this, and it's a lot of frustration. Yeah, I'm finding it hard to pull the trigger on this one. It's going back and forth. There are some people that are saying, yeah, so I'm not paying over $60 with shipping for something I already paid for. Good riddance. Yes, a lot of people that it's hard. They were getting such a deal. I mean, that's why I backed that first set of Blacklist, because you were getting such an insane deal for that many miniatures. So yes, hey, Abyss is here and bringing the Snow White magic with him. Nice. Yes, so yeah, I wonder how the U.S. will look in a month or 3 once the T-shirts and shoes and toys run out. Yeah, people are gonna be having to wear the old fast fashion that they were gonna throw away from China. Like, I guess I got to keep wearing my tattered replica of a Led Zeppelin album cover T-shirt from H&M. Whatever nonsense. Yeah. Abyss shows up and everybody left. Hey Merlin, how's it going? I'm going to be honest. The miniatures are way overpriced. Oh, okay. Referring to. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So they're because they are. I mean, you definitely they're board game quality miniatures. They're nice. They're nice sculpts and nice detail, but they're not sharp. And they're kind of that bendy board game plastic. So yeah, without that half off or previously pledging, let's take a look at what the regular. So the base set for they're not even putting 195 miniatures, $96. Yeah. Oh, but they broke things down. Oh, and they're charging for STLs. Make sure I'm looking at the physical pledge. Yeah, the STLs. It's so many duplicates, though. The actual number of STLs, like there's so many multiples. STLs would be pretty small. But that's the nice thing, though, that Wildspire did, is they already offered. We already have links to all of that. So if you have a 3D printer, yeah, you don't have to deal with any of this. They get this pledge, this campaign. The pledges get a little confusing because they throw in a lot of their previous stuff too. So yeah, it's hard to see. Maybe somebody that was just kind of half paying attention with Blacklist minis. It's confusing about what exactly you want to get to, replace what you lost in the bankruptcy. But yeah, yeah. This comment section was horrible at the start. Yeah, Miguel says the crowdfunding is always a risk, but holding a product hostage because stuff happened is not the solution. That's a good point too. Because they need to, and maybe that's the problem with these companies like CMON that have gotten addicted to crowdfunding. It's just this tremendous influx of cash, people blindly supporting you, and they don't have a lot of recourse, especially like through Kickstarter, if you just bail on it. So they're getting used to this like really low risk, producing these new games and miniatures and things with minimal risk. And this is the stuff that happens. Like when you can't use crowdfunding, the shipping costs and tariffs and production costs and materials costs fluctuating, and making it from when you plan to produce it to when you deliver it, it just becomes impossible. And so companies that aren't relying on crowdfunding, they just have to scrap projects, and they just have to say, no, there's no way we're going to make our money back. There's no way we're going to make this work. It's not popular enough. And they have to eat it, and they're not used to eating it anymore. So to directly, that is something that is a little frustrating. So why are we involved in this? You were the guys that said you could do this. And but with companies that I don't want to see go away, like Cephalofair, I feel that very much. It's like, but it would suck in a world without, Isaac making his games would suck. So, but it is a thing that like we've kind of maybe changed our thinking a little bit too much to say, oh, well, we have to help these poor fellows out because they should be, assuming some of this risk and figuring out how to mitigate it, get investment or whatever they need to do to stay running, instead of being like, guys, hey guys, we're going to need some more money. Yeah. I mean, with individual creators and small level stuff, I can see that being a thing. But for these companies that have experience and are doing, global production and global distribution, they got to assume some of the risk. Yeah, but yeah, they've gotten spoiled because it's not a pre-order, it's a donation, or was it what do they call it? A donation? It's something that has less of legal recourse. Yes. Oh, so Arturo said, I already kickstarted MechBorg, and someone talked me off the ledge on them. Oh, on this MechWarrior bundle. Nice. What's $18 among friends? Yes, it's only $18 for $335 in digital value. Yeah, I really want to see the universe book. That's the one thing. 'Cause I've watched a bunch of Battletech lore videos. There's like the setting stuff, and I still don't quite have my head around it. Yes. So yeah, nice to see you, Merlin. Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff is just junk. Yeah, to be honest. Yes, that's true. And maybe, this will, at least it will definitely shake out the scammers and the scumbags that, because there's all that talk about if you're doing manufacturing in China and you don't have a lot of experience, or you don't have somebody there, you don't actually have an employee or somebody to be, in China or having some supervisory role. You get those things where they produce everything. Okay, your order's ready. Let's renegotiate that price. A lot of like really shady stuff, or promises that we'll use this material, we'll do this, and then you get the final thing and it's they cheaped out. They like kind of like contractors, like building houses and stuff. They have this amount of money, this budget, and then they can kind of carve out by using shittier materials. They can keep as much of that as possible. I think that's the temptation with some of these less scrupulous factory owners. So hopefully this will shake all of them out, but it's also going to take out a lot of people that were doing a good job to their export business was actually helping. So we'll see. Oh no, Matt did not promote the Discord yet, but I think he cleaned it up. He said he was fixing some of the roles and permissions and stuff. So it's getting better. Yeah. So but message us at upturntabletop@gmail if you want some access. If you're a regular chatter, just tell me your name and YouTube, your screen name and YouTube, so I know who you are. Yeah, and that's the thing too, though. Very good point, Merlin. Yeah. Digital is not real ownership. Yes, they're still getting us to digitally hoard. That's the thing that's so funny now, is there's people that fill their houses with old newspapers and magazines, and now there's people that fill their hard drives with old STLs and PDFs. And I have a little bit of that. I have a file of TTRPG. Whenever I come across random stuff on archives or whatever, just throw it in that folder. I've got all kinds of weird random RPG stuff that I'll probably never look at, but I couldn't not download it when I came across it. Yes. So we'll see. But yeah, good to see everybody. So some Fallout tomorrow. That's good. Matt's getting the date night out of the way, making room for the game night. So next week, Chris mentioned that the schedule might have to be a little different. We might do Wednesday night instead of Thursday night next week, depending on the schedule. It may just have to be same time, but maybe me and Matt, or however it works, whatever is available or what works. Abyss says, once the PDF is on my hard drive and then off to the high seas. Someone's seeding. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it should be fun. Hopefully we can get Dylan up to speed, and I think there might be fun ways to introduce Dylan's character into the middle of this. Being in charge of the whole settlement. as Daisy is. It should be fun. Yeah. So yeah, Chris and I are trying to find some time for some miniature stuff again. We got to figure out a way to record that and also get some bot moderation at the minimum on there, so you're not just reading Russian spam in the chat the whole time. But yeah, that should come up. So we've got the kind of Golden Week holiday, a bunch of national holidays kind of clustered together, and people can take time off and make it a whole week of vacation. That's coming up in May, so that might shift things around depending on family obligations and stuff. So I'll let you know what our schedule looks like in May as we get there. All right. But yeah, I've got some stuff. I gotta get the unboxing and flip through stuff going. There's a bunch of stuff kind of backing up that I want to show you guys. I gotta paint some Infinity too, because yeah, we're gonna have another Infinity game after Golden Week, so like the middle of May. I'm gonna get some stuff painted up. So I was looking, like, they don't have, the shipping is really expensive always to Japan, so I was looking at my different options. There's a few domestic sellers, but then I of course looked on eBay, and oh man, I hate dealing with eBay sellers. There was I just wanted really one miniature of the 3 miniatures that this guy was selling, and they were all in crap condition, you know, like all just like, I don't know, they were primed and someone tried to strip them or whatever. They were like not great condition, and he wanted a little bit too much for me. I really wanted the one, so I did an offer. I sent him an offer, and it was pretty low, but I have to, you know, forward it from the US anyhow, because the guy didn't do international shipping, and he sent back a response to my offer that was more than the original price. I'm like, fuck this guy. All right, whatever. But yeah, a little sensitive. I think I triggered him a little bit, and I guess maybe if he's you know, making his living off of eBay, it's offensive to lowball him. But so yeah, I don't miss eBay. It's a whole thing. But yeah, that was funny. I didn't realize. So I'm doing Nomads now. I'm trying to figure out. There's a couple of things I'm looking at as far as the faction or the sectorial within Nomads. So right now I've got a decent Nomads, a 200-point Nomads vanilla list, and that's what we're playing with the newer players. And I guess working up to 300 eventually, but we don't have space. We'll have space for like three 200-point boards, so I think that'll work the best. So yeah, so mostly Nomads. I've got some Pano from that original set, and supplemented that a little bit. I've got a little bit of Combined Army, the Alien faction, and some JSA, but not the good new ones. And those are all vanilla. I don't have. I've got, what is the Corridorier, the kind of the nuns, the battle nuns for Nomads. But I'll probably be playing vanilla Nomads for a while, just until I get better at the rules and everything again. Abyss is like, wait a minute, this is unmoderated chat? Let's see how good these YouTube filters really are. Yeah, Miguel, I think I've got the Infinity bug. Yeah, the new rules are great. Not always, and it's like, I'll roll under. You're not like, you know, switching back and forth. Am I over, under? What am I doing? And yes, things are streamlined enough. I haven't gotten into any of the fire team rules or any of that. So still playing very simply, and made a bunch of mistakes, like forgot cover mods and stuff in a lot of the game we played. But yeah, but it's fun. Yeah, Infinity's a really good game, and it's frustrating though, because I hate super gluing metal miniatures now. I've gotten very spoiled with that, so I wish there was another option. And a lot of the players are saying that they don't like the Siocast stuff. It's not fun to deal with that either. So I wish yeah, Infinity did something else. I don't know, but yeah, metal's fun, and it's nice once they're finished, but kind of prepping them and stuff, I'm not enjoying that, because they do off of the little raft there's like little tiny antenna and stuff, and I'm like super gluing them to my fingers more than the model, and there's like a lot of stuff I'm not very good at. I'm very clumsy at with these really tiny, because they're more human scale. I think the newer sculpts are a little chunkier, so maybe not so many of those tiny things, but the N3 models that I have, there's like some little, you could mistake it for just a little shaving of white metal. There's little things, little antenna and things that have to go on some of these models that, of course, if you ever dropped it, it's just fucked. But you don't see it when you're looking at the bare metal. You don't see it, but after you prime a metal miniature, it's really crisp. Like the details are really sharp. I can see why Nick, the guy that's kind of organizing the Infinity Group, why he likes to paint metal miniatures, because it's really nice detail. Yeah, they just have their own things. Yes. And I always get a little bit of it, like the too much super glue fumes sometimes if I'm doing something too much and I breathe in too many fumes. My like nose is burning the whole next day and stuff. I hate that stuff. But yeah, it looks like a pretty good group. There's a bunch of people that are playing regularly. I think it's some jig thing or some meetup, and then we're going to meet here maybe once a month to do smaller games as well. And Nick has this really nice what is it, shoot, I don't remember the company, but really nice cardboard terrain that's really strong and sturdy, but then packs flat, like everything like folds out and packs flat. Acid Designs maybe, but he's got a lot of really good terrain. So we've got really good looking boards to play on, which makes a big difference too. That's very immersive. And I'm just trying to play with all painted models, even though some of my older models are painted very badly. But yeah, hey, there's a bot. There's a bot checking in. Jeez, something on Twitch. Yay, we've got a chatter on Twitch that is. What are they doing? All right. First time chatter. Best views. Hey, get out of here. That's weird. There aren't like instant. Yeah, I'm getting spam on Twitch, and there's not a way to just right click and get that out of there. Oh, but I gotta buy views for Twitch. Nothing would make me happier. Oh yeah. That's something. Yeah. Drilling and pinning is something that would help a lot. Yeah, especially with arms and stuff. I think I need to pin a lot more because I lost an arm. I had a Pano miniature with like this arm, and somehow it's gone. So I have a one-armed a battle injury on one of my awesome Pano models. So yeah, can I do? Oh, does Restream let me say go away to this? I can hide. Oh no, I don't want to hide. It's Restream. I don't want to hide Restream. Yeah, maybe it's. Nope. Matt, where are you? Yeah, we need to. Actually, just need a mod in or a bot probably in Twitch. That would probably help because I think that's where all that junk comes from anyhow. A first-time chatter selling me views. I could never put a price on chatters and views. You guys are priceless. Yeah, so that'll be fun to get a chance to do. And it's nice I'm playing with some players that are also new to the game, so I don't feel so far behind. Like playing with Nick or playing with one of the more experienced players, I always feel like it's baby town frolics, and I'm just like, they're just not wiping me off the board just to be polite. Yeah, make so many mistakes, especially for deployment when you're not used to, Infinity style deployment. Everything has to start in cover, and everything needs to be kind of far apart because of blast templates, and hacking and stuff. Like people can, get multiple targets very easily. So you got to really plan your deployment carefully, and it's a totally different style from a lot of other games. You don't leave anything out in the open unless unless you're trying to draw somebody into something. Nice. All right, Arturo, see you. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. And yeah, we will do this again. Yeah, Miguel, do you play Infinity? I think we've talked about Infinity before. But if you do, check out the Discord. There is a I don't know if it's, I think it's all Corvus Belly games or if it's just Infinity Japan, and then under Osaka, Nick is listing the meetup dates and stuff. So that'd be fun. Although I'm sure, if you do play Infinity, you're probably a much better player than I am. You just have to kill all of my nuns and my riot girls. All right. I could a bit. Okay, well, let's let me see here. Is that okay? Okay, Abyss. And this is a, I don't know. You guys might be clashing wrenches, Matt and you, but yes, I will make you the mod in absence of Matt. Let's see how this goes. Would you like to be a standard moderator? Let's see. Remove chat messages. Oh yeah, you need to be that for live. There we go. Uh-oh. There we go. Now the color of Abyss has changed. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. You can knock out any spam that's going on, or just lace the chat with the most distressing profanity YouTube has ever seen. Nice. Oh yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, seeing as Cephalofair could actually have some financial trouble. They still say it's all still hypothetical, but if they have stuff that's sitting in port or sitting in containers, that is they have to make a decision quickly because the storage fees are insane. Like people just dump stuff into the sea rather than pay them, or just abandon it. So yeah, it's really crazy. Nice. Abyss a screenshot of the moment that he went from green to blue with the little wrench. So use it wisely, Sir Abyss. You've been anointed. Yeah, I'd really hate to see some of these like good companies that have really put out some great stuff and really had a big effect on the board game hobby to be punished by this. I hope this is just some bullshit posturing that's just going to go away. I don't quite see what the ultimate goal of doing this is, other than the goal of everything is just to scoop up the little fish and feed them to the big fish, like environmental stuff and carbon credits and all this crap is just stuff, paper straws, all this stuff is just putting a burden on small businesses that they can't handle, and then just letting the big guys that can operate at a loss at certain locations for certain amounts of time just eat them up, and that sucks. There goes the stream, says Miguel. It's over now. It's Abyss's stream. Nice. Oh yeah, we got to replace some of our emojis still. Yeah, I'm not the new sculpts, the N5 sculpts for new miniatures that they're doing. I don't know. They're chunkier in a way that I'm not crazy about. I like the older stuff, and some of them are kind of boring. They're kind of like generic-y and boring, like the O12 stuff. Space Cops, whatever, they look really boring. So it's gonna be tricky. Yeah, that's what that's the thing I liked about Nomads, and why when we split that half I chose Nomads is because they just get weird. It's like they don't have a home world, and it's just like 3 ships, like 3 colony ships. Each of them, like one is basically the Catholic Church, another one is like animal experiments, another one is just like alien. Militant alien races. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not a fan of some of these newer sculpts because it's hard to tell without colors. It's really hard to tell some of these units apart. Like if you just see them in white metal and don't have them identified, it's gonna be hard to know what's what. Nice. The New Kids sketch where the male guy gets a minor promotion and goes mad with fire. I probably have. Yeah, I watch. I think I watch everything for New Kids in the, or Kids in. Oh wait. Yeah, Kids in the Hall, right? Or New Kids sketch. I'm reading Kids in the Hall, but I think you might be saying something else. But yeah, nice. But Abyss is now mad with power, so every stream is going to be the total rule will be very very extreme. There'll be posters of the faithful fearless mod now everywhere, adorning all of the chats. But no, that'll help a lot, Abyss, because especially like cartoon stream and stuff. That was great to hang out with you and have you there. And sometimes just some randos show up and are pretty disruptive when we're just like hanging out for the cartoons. And if we do battle reports and stuff, if we try to live stream miniature games, it would really help. Yeah, to have someone to knock out all the spam. Cool. All right, so yeah, tomorrow, and that might help because I think that is a little bit of a distraction too from Matt, maybe less so as a player, but definitely as a GM, being a mod and YouTube and having that video up while we're playing and seeing stuff that he wants to delete or whatever, or moderate is definitely a distraction. So it'd be good to have somebody else, especially for our actual play live stream stuff. Yeah, Kids in the Hall. That does sound familiar. They got. I forget. Like, you always forget how good a lot of their stuff was, and then going back and watching. I forget who. I don't know if it was somebody had a stream of them. Maybe it was on YouTube or something where they were doing a live stream of seasons and episodes. But yeah, that was a really good comedy group, and even. It was a little bit depressing to see how old they got, but it was nice when they did that reunion thing on Amazon or whatever. They still, they can still write, and they're still funny. I felt better about the Kids in the Hall than the Mr. Show stuff. The Mr. Show kind of lost its edge when they did that. Bob and what's his name? The other one, when they did the Mr. Show reunion, that kind of, it was a little bit weak. But the Kids in the Hall reunion stuff was good. You can tell they're still funny. But yeah, that was a good group. All right. Yeah, now you're gonna make me go watch some old episodes. Nice. It's a shame that was the SNL guy find, wasn't it? He found them and got them their show. But the theme song of Kids in the Hall, did they do that themselves, or like I don't know if like where they got that, but the that guitar in the opening theme of the Kids in the Hall show, the sketch show, sounds so much like X. There's a couple of X songs, the LA band, that sound exactly like that. So I guess it was about that time. It was like the 90s, and that sound was around. But there's a few of those bass lines and stuff that I'm like, that sounds like X. Yeah, very funny. All right. Well, yeah. So yeah, no other big changes. I've got some. There's something maybe I want to do a live stream, but I want to get Matt in on it just to get his like real time reaction. But I have a copy of Exodus, the core rule book for the WotC sci-fi Mass Effect knockoff game that they're doing. So yeah, I'd like to go through that with Matt and see how frustrated he gets. How many times they use Traveler inappropriately. Nice. But yeah, that will be soon. And I've got a couple of. I still haven't done Mothership, and there's a couple of things that I want to open that I haven't had a chance. And something else came just recently that would be fun to take a look at too. But we will definitely be doing Fallout. So Fallout tomorrow night, and Abyss as mod, guest starring Matt as mod. Yeah, good stuff. And now I'm off to watch some Kids in the Hall. So everybody take care, and thank you so much for the patrons and members making all of this possible. I really appreciate both Chris and Matt and Will and everybody that's doing stuff with the channel. Really appreciate that support. It makes it so much easier to pay everything that every VTT and the hosting and everything that goes into making this possible. It helps so much. So thanks again for your support, and we'll be back next week. So take care, and see you tomorrow for Fallout. Goodbye. So